All right, so we're going to take another stab at creating a pooled virtual desktop collection. I did something the last time around which I should not have done. I started that sysprepped virtual machine, and apparently doing that unsyspreps it. So I had to recite everything, redo everything, and now I'm back to approximately where I was 30 minutes ago. So once you get your VM sysprepped, shut down, leave it alone. Um, if you need to make any changes to it, just understand whatever change. Now, you're essentially going to have to reinstall it all over again, at least as far as host name is concerned and all of that is concerned. You really need to make sure you're good and ready to commit to the process before you sysprep, because having to unsysprep, redo, resysprep looks to be more trouble than it's worth. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is go back to my server manager, is where this actually went sideways on me before. We're going to create a virtual desktop collection. We need Active Directory. We need a VM that can become the basis, the template for our virtual desktops in the collection. If we have multiple remote desktop virtualization hosts, Hyper-V servers, or servers with a Hyper-V role, we need a virtual switch to tie them all together. You've got to have, if it's an unmanaged virtual desktop collection, you're going to have a group of desktops to add to that collection, so you don't have to worry about spinning new ones up at will. Your connection broker has got to have sufficient privileges in the Active Directory to put new virtual desktops in the domain. Now remember, when we add things to an Active Directory domain, we're not just talking about users. The computers themselves have accounts in the Active Directory domain. So as these new VMs spin up, they have to go into the Active Directory domain as well, so that your users can access the resources they need. And of course, we've got to have Active Directory domain services configured properly. So click Next. We're going to give it a collection name of, sorry about that, create collection wizard. We're going to call this Virtual Desktops Pool. Click Next. And because we could use remote desktop services in two different ways, actually in several different ways, what we're going to do here is a pooled virtual desktop collection, not personal. Personal ties in your users to specific VMs. Pooled will allow you to create new VMs at will for your users as they come along. So it's going to automatically create and manage your virtual desktops. Click Next. This is where things went sideways on me before. I clicked this template, I clicked Next. And it thought for a while, and it goofed because it said, hey, this thing has not been sysprepped. Of course, like as I said, if you sysprep it, and you shut it down, and you start it up again, you've unsysprepped it. No, so let's see. We're going to do next. We're going to confirm, provide unattended installation settings. We could also provide a sysprep answer file, but we don't have that right now. We're going to notice this. The local admin account on these virtual desktops is going to be disabled. You will only be able to log in to the domain. So it's a good thing to note. So let's see. I'm going to choose Central Time, because that's where we are. We're going to choose the Practice Labs domain. We're going to choose the North America OU. And this is analogous to the selections we made when we were doing our deployment settings in a previous exercise. Click Next. Users and groups. Let's see, prefix text box with pool VM. No, we're going to leave it domain users. What we're doing here essentially is we're giving it a name scheme so that as it spins up new VMs, it can name them appropriately. Cool VM1. We're not going to change the domain users thing. Click Next. Virtual desktop allocation. We're going to leave, let's see, click Next. We're not going to change anything. Let's see. And let's see, going to go to virtual storage. Store each host. Let's see. Store each selected type D : slash. So essentially, it's going to put everything into. It's going to put everything into the D drive. You could put this other places if you wanted to, like for example, a network share, clustered, another path. And we're going to roll back the virtual desktop when the user logs off. That indicates that these are going to be non-persistent images. Whatever the user changes, whatever changes the user makes to their virtual environment, all that will disappear when the user logs off. It's kind of like what we have here. When you reset these labs to their current state, to their original state, or when you leave them and come back, they always come back to how things are supposed to be at the beginning of the first exercise in the lab. These are effectively non-persistent as well. Let's see. So click Next. Okay. Let's see. Uncheck Enable User Profile Disks. Then click Next. So we're going to see all our choices here for confirmation. And then create. And we're going to wait for the exportation and virtual desktop creation. Okay, so our desktops have now been exported. Good. Let's see what's going on back here. Okay, so we've got a pool. Okay. So we've got our collection. Good. And they're actually creating them. Good. So we see ourselves, we see this our own machine as the host server. Let's go over here. Now I could also go to task status details, close, go, boom, virtual machine based desktop. Okay, there. Task details. Okay. Okay, no, not that. Where does that go? No, actually, let me go. Create collection. Yeah, cancel. Yes. Okay. This could take up to 10 minutes, so I'm going to pause it right here. Now, it says that it could take up to 10 minutes. It also kind of says it worked. I can also see my pool VM1 running right now. So my task, the deployment worked. Its status is creating. Let me see if I can't see that in more detail. No saved queries, no new queries. Current state is creating. Doesn't know whether it's going to allow new connections or not. We have no connections at the present. So I'm going to save it right here. And we'll move on to accessing virtual desktops in just a minute.